At the restaurant, my daughter-in-law smacked my plate off the table. "Witch, you should have stayed away," she shouted. Everyone went quiet, and my son just sat there, saying nothing. I can still hear the shattering sound, not just of the china plate crashing to the floor, but of my heart breaking right along with it. In that moment, surrounded by strangers, my own son sat silent, and I knew everything had to change. It was my 60th birthday, and I'd been so incredibly excited for this dinner. Carlton, my only son, had actually called to invite me after months of unanswered calls and hurried conversations. I truly thought things were finally changing between us. I spent hours getting ready, putting on my best dress, the pearl necklace Robert had given me before he passed away 5 years ago. I arrived at Bellini's, a fancy Italian restaurant I couldn't really afford, clutching a small photo album I'd put together, pictures of Carlton growing up. Silly me, I thought we might look through it together over dessert. The tension was palpable from the moment I sat down. Harlow, my daughter-in-law, barely acknowledged my presence, typing furiously on her phone. Carlton seemed nervous, constantly checking his watch. Still, I tried. God knows I tried. "How are the children?" I asked, desperate to hear about my grandchildren. I hadn't seen them in almost 8 months. "They're fine," Harlow snapped, not bothering to look up. I persisted, smiling through the pain. "I brought a little gift for Emma's birthday next week. I hope she'll like it." That's when Harlow finally looked at me, her eyes cold as ice. "We already told you, Bessie. Emma has too many toys. She doesn't need your cheap trinkets." Carlton shifted uncomfortably. "Harlow, please." "No, Carlton. I'm tired of her trying to buy our children's affection when she was such a terrible mother to you." I felt like I'd been slapped. I don't understand," I whispered. "You never do you?" Harlow continued, her voice getting louder. "Always playing the victim. Poor Bessie, all alone in that big house. Maybe if you hadn't been so controlling, Carlton wouldn't have needed therapy." "Therapy?" This was the first I'd heard of it. I looked at my son, confused and hurt. "Carlton." He wouldn't meet my eyes. "It's nothing, Mom." "It's not nothing," Harlow insisted. "Tell her how she ruined your childhood. Tell her how she never let you be your own person." The waiter arrived with our food, awkwardly placing plates in front of us as Harlow continued her tirade. I sat frozen, unable to process what was happening. When the waiter left, I tried to reach for Carlton's hand. "Honey, I don't know what," that's when Harlow snapped. She stood up, grabbed my plate of pasta, and threw it to the floor. "You witch. You should never have come." The crash silenced the entire restaurant. I felt the eyes of strangers burning into me as sauce splattered across my dress and shoes. "Carlton." I pleaded, my voice breaking. "Carlton, please." But my son, the little boy I'd raised alone after Robert died of cancer when Carlton was just 12, the boy I'd worked 3 jobs to put through college, just sat there. Silent. Ashamed. Not of Harlow, but of me. I grabbed my purse, hands trembling so badly I could barely stand. "I'm sorry to have ruined your evening," I managed to say, dignity the only thing I had left. Then I walked out, head held high despite the tears streaming down my face. In the parking lot, I sat in my car and sobbed. Through the restaurant window, I could see them continuing their meal as if nothing had happened, as if I had never been there at all. I drove home to the house Robert and I had bought 40 years ago, the house where Carlton took his first steps, where he had his first kiss on the porch, where he told me he was going to marry Harlow. The house that suddenly felt too big, too empty, too full of ghosts. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I sat in Robert's old armchair, surrounded by photo albums and memories, trying to understand where I'd gone wrong. Had I been controlling? Had I ruined Carlton's childhood? The questions haunted me until dawn. By morning, something had shifted inside me. Full story on channel, link below. Watch what happened next.